The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying round the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot the death, oh yes, these other sports podcasts live as a bro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season. If people start five. We going in on three. Run the baseline, start five. Get it. We got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three. Run the baseline, start five. Get it. We got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign. I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
You need.
Yeah, what O said. We back. We back, y'all. Newest episode of the Start Five Podcast. As always, we thank y'all for listening. Hit that start5podcast.com. Work's been a little too busy getting adjusted to my first week of no handcuff supervisory. So I haven't been able to update the website, which that's been crazy. But coming soon, we're going to add that lovely code that's in the corner. Go to hooksrub.com, as you can see on the crawl on the bottom of the screen. Hooksrub.com. Use our code starting5 for 20% off your order. I'm telling you, the shit's dope. I'm actually making ribs right now in makeup of last weekend because my mother already cooked and it was Mother's Day weekend. And traditionally every year, my Mother's Day gift to the missus is dinner. And I'm using some smoking sweetness with a little bit of the midnight on some ribs. And got my kids peeling shrimp in a little bit. They're going to peel shrimp. So I might fry some, might do some other stuff.
Make sure they devein them.
They're already deveined.
Good.
It's one of them bags that it's simple peel and devein.
Oh, okay.
Even not whatever, the shrimp shit shoot don't freaking taste no different. We've all eaten it before.
Hey man, I was talking about. That shrimp at the Chinese restaurant you got ain't divine, bro.
Anyway.
Don't tell me that, man. I don't tell me that, man.
I'm gonna go out of order this week and go down to Big O for good reason. What up?
What up, y'all? Y'all, I'm definitely gonna take advantage of that discount myself. I'm gonna have something I think on a third. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some seasoning. So yeah, we'll be taking advantage of that, man. But shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to my boy Jamal that couldn't be here this weekend. Shout out to the listeners, especially, because y'all make this clock go round, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to a good show. I'm passing on to my boy TJ.
Which this is TJ's show today because the brother celebrated his 50th yesterday. I'm still a little mad that I couldn't make it, but
it was a great time, bro.
I seen a little bit of the live from AP. Shout out to the good brother who, all the normal HHDG faces was there, but I'm mad I haven't seen none of the normal HHDG faces all year yet. So it kind of got me a little, like, fuck. Like, if I was able to afford to have freaking just drive, I could have left early enough to try to at least come over there for at least an hour or two. I didn't know what time you ended, but I could have tried to get.
We got out of there at damn near midnight, but yeah, it was.
I wouldn't have made it then. I wouldn't have made it in time.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time.
But yeah, It's your show, so
Yo,
you introduce it, and you're taking this
all right.
show to wherever the hell you want to go today.
Yeah,
This
boy, the
is
takeover.
we
The
didn't get to
takeover.
we didn't talk about what we're gonna talk about, nothing like that. So it literally was just a thought of my head, and you're lucky I'm not on Facebook no more like that. So you're lucky I couldn't find any of your baby pictures. Because I would have made the promo picture one of your childhood, especially damn it, the one in the
The
suit
one with
jacket.
in the suit jacket, right, with the big collar and shit.
That's
I
right.
do have a few floating around the internet for sure.
I didn't want to
real
make
quick.
50 Tyson on your face, but that's why I called it 50 TJ. I called it 50 TJ instead. But yeah, happy birthday, good brother.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Today's the actual born day. So yes, thank you. Real quick, man, listening to the intro, Biz went in on them 808s, man. Them shits knock. They get me every time you play the intro. I hear that mid and that sub, and I'm like, yo, that shit is fire. Shout out to Benz if he's listening. But yes, thank you. Today is the born day. Last night I had my 50th birthday party. It was a 90s throwback party. Shout out to DJ Soulbuck on the 1 and 2s. He killed it. Shout out to everybody who showed up. A lot of my day one showed up, which was love. Love, love. I got a lot of cigars and a lot of booze and some money. Some people he was charitable last night. So I can't complain. I cannot complain. It was a good time. It's good to see all my friends in one spot. You know, back in the day, you couldn't mix friends. You couldn't mix your hood friends with your weird backpack friends. It just wasn't gonna clash.
Nigga, I still can't do that.
Allegedly.
No, allegedly. But I had all my peoples in there last night, so it was a real good time. The food was good, the music was good, and the company was better. So thank you guys for those that came out. And if you missed out, I'm sorry. You know, life happens. It was a good time though. What are we gonna start off with today? Can we just start off with the Lakers getting their ass handed to them again? Again?
Yeah, enlighten me.
Bron is done, man.
Because I haven't gotten to see it.
They're washed. They are washed. They're down 3-0. They got smacked again last night. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, people. All you LA fans talking about, yo, we're gonna make the run. Ain't no run. This is it. Stop here. Full stop. You have nobody that can contain the true MVP of the league, not the whiner that won this year, who begged his way for an MVP trophy. Joker is on another level. His cerebral game is just his court awareness, his basketball IQ is one of the best, bar none. You know what I'm saying? I've seen in a long time. The man is a machine.
Question, because you blatantly said LeBron is done. I mean, the team washed, I'll give you that. But to say LeBron is done when I'm looking at his numbers here and he went 40 minutes. I was gonna say
he can't carry it by himself anymore like he used to, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't will his way to a win.
Well,
he can't will his way to the win.
And AD, I'm sorry, Dan, but AD is putting up the numbers. You know, you can't. I'm gonna tell you. Game one. Thank you NBA, thank you ABC for having the game at 8:00, so the East Coast could finally see. So the East Coast could finally see Jokic play. This dude had a triple double in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So instantly we saw why he was 2-time MVP. Should have won a third one, right? So there's no way you can have a game plan for Jokic. What I think that the Lakers, what punched the Lakers in the mouth was Jamal Murray having the series that he's having.
But here's the thing. Oh, Jokic elevates his team. Like he brings, like, you know, a tide raises all boats. Yo, he's definitely that dude. Like he involves everybody, whether you're coming off the bench, whether you're starting. He makes it his game. He makes it because he can get a bucket anytime he wants. Yes. Inside, outside, mid-range. And he does it on his own pace, at his own way. Like you cannot speed the game up for him. You cannot slow it down for him. You cannot change the pace. When the ball is in his hands, he controls it all. He's a big-ass point guard. That's what he is.
So
He's just
let me
Not the
give.
fastest,
Let me.
not the
Let,
fastest. Not the biggest. Well, he might be up there with the biggest, but
so let me give
yeah,
numbers. Let me give numbers on all the names mentioned because, like I said, I was trying to roll into real quick of LeBron James, but he led the team tied with Austin Reeves with 22 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. So damn near
damn.
close to triple double.
Yeah,
Literally, like you can make that look like he did it all himself. AD, 18 points, 4 assists, 14 rebounds.
that's
Like
not enough.
as a big, I need to see double digit rebounds all the time. And then
Right.
the next closest scorers was Reeves with 22 and Hachimura with 21. Go to the Nuggets. And shit, Jamal Murray hit for 37, 5 assists, 10 rebounds. Jokic,
Damn.
23 points, 12 assists, 17 rebounds.
Jesus Christ.
Though everybody else, like there's 3 more players in double digits with Porter Jr. with 16, Aaron Gordon with 10, and Bruce Brown Jr. with 12. Those two you could say carried this team in a way.
Yes.
Murray and Jokic. And
Yeah.
I'm with y'all. Like Jokic is a guy that, again, he's not to be fucked with. And I like in the words of Evidence, and I forgot which song it was when he said, "I slow flows y'all to death." Like
Yes.
that's Jokic's game.
yes.
Yep.
It's,
No
I,
ESPN highlights. You
but Jokic's game is definitely the "I slow flows y'all to death," and it works all the time. And it's like I said it
Yeah.
when we made our predictions last week. I was like, I know Denver's got it because with him, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain
Only
him.
hope to continue. And you know what? His game transcends eras. Like he can play in any era with the style of
Yeah.
basketball he plays.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Also, have we seen? When's the last time we seen a big man as skilled as him? I mean, the knock on him is he doesn't play defense. He doesn't play both ends of the floor. I can't say that. The dude is not getting cooked. Really, I haven't seen him get roasted lately. I mean, that was
You
the
know,
thing when he used to go
I
against
gotta say,
Embiid.
let me add on.
I'll be honest with you, real quick, Dan.
Yeah,
They,
go ahead.
I've been hearing a lot of comparisons to a prime Bill Walton. Like when he was with the Clippers or whatever. I've been hearing that, but that's before my time. Maybe your time. You might remember him playing.
Fuck you, but okay.
Nah, yo, like all right. It's almost been a good 20 plus years since the game has been a center's game.
Mm-hmm.
So where you could say we've never seen nothing like that before, it's almost true for a certain generation of people because
Right.
they weren't around when it was Akeem, Ewing, Shaq, freaking Arvydas Sabonis, freaking Vlade Divac. Like, yeah, I'm
Rick Smits. You know what I'm
Rick Smits,
saying?
Yeah.
and I specifically mentioned Vlade and Sabonis because
They were
this
passing
dude,
big men.
they were passing big men, but they were all of these big men could do it all. It was
And they could
just that
shoot.
they
Yeah.
had to face off against the best of the best of
Yeah.
Ewing, Olajuwon, David Robinson, like I
Yeah.
said, Shaq. Like they had the Sabonises and the Divacs had to face these guys and scrap to try to get their own. Now, like when I think of like a Arvydas, like yeah, he's tough. Like Jokic is tough like him. You know what I'm saying? But we've seen this because we've lived in the era where the center was the man and the game was played inside out, not outside and do the
Right.
best you can.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've kind of seen him before, but he's an anomaly now because it's been at least 20 years since it was
Yeah,
the center.
they've strayed away from the big playing in the paint with the big man and focused on shooting big men, you know what I'm saying, who could do more than just put their back to the basket.
And
Thank
part
you.
of that,
That's why I'm disappointed in Embiid because he should have stayed with that and he'd probably been more successful with his team because they would have had to double team him more to get the shooters involved around him.
dude, when it was just JP and I doing this show, I used to say it consistently. Joel Embiid is my favorite player in the league right now outside of LeBron James. Right?
Mhm.
And it would piss me off to no ends to see that man playing from the 3-point line.
Dude, I wish teams would force him to shoot, just pack in the paint. And if we get killed by him scoring 30 and hitting eight
I'll take it.
three-pointers, so
I'll take
be
it.
it.
Yeah. I'll take
So
it.
be it. He's away from the basket. He can't grab rebounds. And he's out there. But he's not a threat enough. You can leave him out there, and he's not even going to hit 50%. He might hit 2 out of 8. You know what I'm saying? So we'll take that. Shoot that shit all day, bro. His mid-range game is phenomenal. His mid-range game is very good. Free throw extended, he's good. But push him back even further than that. And he's useless. He's useless.
Okay, so correction. I did say that Bill Walton, Bill Walton was the closest I could remember to Jokic. Arvydas Sabonis, we were robbed. We were robbed of Arvydas Sabonis best
years. Yeah, because he played in Europe.
He played in Europe. He is probably the closest. Jokic is definitely quicker than Arvydas, that the Sabonis that we know. DeMontis is not as good as his pops because he's not paused, thinking the ass like Sabonis
his dad was. Yeah.
So I was like,
but would you say Dirk? Would you say Dirk? Would you say Dirk was, because Dirk didn't pass like that?
Dirk, yeah, I mean, we could count how many times Dirk posted up. You know what I'm saying? Dirk was more like
Dirk can shoot that three confidently though. Dirk was a deadly shooter, bro.
I was gonna say Dirk is a product of that era where it was
right, but he never. But how many times did he have his back to the basket though?
He did. I mean, we didn't.
He did, but his primary game was facing the basket.
Yeah. He was like, you could say, the start of the era of what became the
shooting big man
basketball.
Yes.
The position of basketball with the big men.
Yeah.
Because let's remember, Anthony Davis coming up was a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
At like 6'3", 6'4".
I'll be right back.
And then shot up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a point guard.
Yes.
And Dirk was again early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, but he was the transition to where the game evolved to today. Of the big, who's 7 foot, 6'11", 6'10", the KDs that we got. That
right. I was gonna say that. That Dirk crawled so KD could walk and run. KD positioned his whole game, after Dirk. The whole 1-footed, fall back, jump shot and all that. That's all Dirk.
I don't know if I'd say he kind of mirrored it in that way or positioned it that way, but you could definitely lay claim that the style looks similar. I wouldn't say that that's who he kind of was trying to pattern himself, but the style looks similar. But yeah, like again, positionless basketball put us in the spot where we're in today, where the man that's coming out and being drafted, probably most definitely being drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", and can do it all across the court.
Dan, I'm gonna tell you, I grew up watching Ralph Sampson, right? And of course, later on, Greg Oden. Skinny big men frighten me, right? Because to me, they're frail. And these, okay, back in the day, in the 80s, there wasn't, I mean, as opposed to now, there wasn't much banging around, pause. But Ralph Sampson right now, with his game, Ralph Sampson would have had a better NBA career.
Oh, a lot of those slimmer bigs back then might have had. Now, with the exceptions of Manute Bol and Sean Bradley, because remember, they were like the 7'6" anomalies of their time, but they were also all this big.
Right.
I think that they would be able to get off a little better nowadays with that frail size, because again, we mentioned the name a second ago, KD. I think most people thought, KD needs to bulk up, get bigger, this, that, and the third. but his game showed he didn't have to.
Yeah, but he did a little bit. He did a little bit.
Yeah, that's just growing with age, though. This is kind of age, kind of gives you more bulk. Even LeBron James looks bulky and looks more muscular, though he's 38, but he's $1 million on his body a year to make sure he stays and looks that way, as they say. You know what I'm saying? But the Victor Wembanyama and his size, I think it's going to be okay for today's game because the way his game is. And I haven't yet to get to watch a full game of his yet, but highlights and moments that I've seen of him play, the kid's got it. He's got it kind of like a KD, but taller. He got the long game. He could shoot from deep. He got the mid-range. He got moves to the basket. I would like to see more of what his rebounding and playing in the paint is. Again,
everything I've seen from him, he was at the 3-point line. I never seen him with his back to the basket. I've seen a little bit of playmaking. Again, I mean, and this is me watching Wembanyama and seeing as much mixtape as him, quote unquote, as Zion. Zion is everything. Everything you see with Zion, he's going hard in the paint, pause. But there was never no back to the basket, traditional big man moves. I never see no post moves and nothing like that. Always facing the basket from the 3-point line. So I don't know. I mean, everyone is drinking the Wembanyama Kool-Aid, but I don't know. I still haven't seen much. I'm gonna tell you one thing. He's going to the right coach. He's going to the right coach, right organization. I would love to see a Popovich, that Spurs blueprint. I love to see that because it will either make or break you. Make being Ginobili, Duncan Robinson, or break Kawhi Leonard, DeJounte Murray. So we'll see.
Well, I don't see. I can't. I was gonna go a different way, but I have to pause on that. The Kawhi break. I don't think Popovich didn't break Kawhi Leonard. I think he put Kawhi in the right positions to be able to elevate himself to where he was able to get to where he could go to Toronto, win a championship. But then Kawhi is his own worst enemy because he can't stay healthy. Or when he is healthy, he's not coming back in.
Pop knew the talent. Pop knew the talent that he had. He never wanted him to leave San Antonio.
I agree.
So that's where I don't know. That's where I see that I'm not, maybe Kawhi was not built for San Antonio and Popovich's style of doing things,
Yeah, no, I get it and I understand, but again, Victor, there is something special about this kid. Like I see it, but again, I think it kind of goes back to what I said about Jokic and how when TJ mentioned I don't think we've seen this type of guy before. I think once again, it's because we haven't seen we've seen big men do what Victor Wembanyama is doing now, but how a lot of them, not everybody translates when they come into the NBA.
Correct.
I think that's
correct.
I think that's kind of where the difference sets in. Is like, how is he going to transition to the NBA game? Overseas game, we already know it's a totally different game. Most of the leagues overseas seem a little more free flowing, and like the best of the best, like stand out crazy. Like that's why we got a Luka Doncic that can play the way he plays, and looks so spectacular here because it fit in the NBA's game. But overseas, he looked like he was the greatest, one of the greatest ever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same thing with what Victor's doing right now. Like overseas, he's looking like he's the generational, could be, up there talking about him in the future as like top 5 to 10 type of player overseas.
Dan, I'm gonna tell you, French players do well. French players do well for whatever reason. In that part of Europe, French players do well. You got your Tony Parkers, you got your Boris Diaws, and it's not like it's just one position, like either the 4 or the 5. You could be the 1, i.e. Tony Parker. You could be the 3, like Diaw could play the 3, 4, or 5. For whatever reason, French players do well. So we'll see.
Right. But TJ, yeah, we left off TJ while you were gone, just like briefly going over, like we kind of transitioned into like Victor Wembanyama and how like he's like the generational talent that's kind of the new prototype for the big that can do it all. But we also think like partially his size and his slim. Well, I can't even put a lot of stock into how skinny he is right now, because again, we mentioned KD, we mentioned AD, who AD is a little thicker, but is fragile. You know what I'm saying? They call him Mr. Glass for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been calling AD Mr. Glass for a reason. But I don't know, man. Like with Victor, Victor Wembanyama is one of the biggest, in my opinion. Let's wait and see. What happened?
No, I came in you talking about how Victor Wembanyama was the biggest, but go ahead.
I said one of the biggest wait and sees.
Okay.
Yeah. No AOs on that right there. No AOs.
But nah, man. Yeah, we have to wait and see, man. Like I said, like I touched on, and we had touched on, Wembanyama has come in. Wembanyama has come into a time where the NBA is conducive to his style of play.
Absolutely.
With him being yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have to wait and see on that, man.
Yeah, but what else can we wait and see on? So now that TJ is trying to get his shit together, he had to change up the headphones. Had to go with the classic black.
Yeah, I'm back now. I had to switch my daughter off. She was with me the whole weekend, and her mom came and picked her up. So
okay.
She's not old enough to do the pass off on her own.
She should have, but it was nice that her mom picked her up today. So
yeah, that's cool.
She wish you happy birthday and all that.
All that. We no bad blood between us anymore. So
that's what's up, man.
It took a long time, brother. It took a long time.
Anymore.
So I hear.
The key word is anymore.
Took a long time. A lot of healing with that shit.
Yeah.
That's a game that I'm never trying to get into.
Bro, please. It'll age you like no other, bro.
Well, I mean, you're aged, vintage-ly, you know what I'm saying? Like coming off a partying hard and you wide the fuck awake today. I'm impressed.
Yo, because I don't get hangovers, bro. I've never had a hangover in my entire life.
Yo, TJ, I'm gonna tell you, man. I mean, I don't know if you want people to know your age.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. I'm
okay.
I'm there now.
So you're the youngest 50-year-old that I know, man.
Everybody says that, man. Thank you, though. Thank you.
That. So my hats off to you. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta thank Mom Dukes for that. The genes, bro.
Good genes.
It's the genes, man. People swear I'm 38, man. I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Take it.
Because you look way older than me, dogs. I be telling people that all the time. I'm like, yo, I can't share my age with everybody. You know what I'm saying? People get upset and shit. They be get upset, especially them those chalky people. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that when they hear.
Healthy people.
It's a special level of melanin because I kind of not to put anything on me, but I kind of share the same shit where people think my younger brother is older than me.
Yo, my brother Chris, he hates that shit. He hates that shit. It was like, yo, I thought you was the older brother. I'm like, that's what marriage does to you, fam.
You're welcome.
Word. Peace to Conscious Son in the comments. Yo, what up?
What up?
But
What
yeah,
up,
man.
what up?
So where we going next, TJ?
Oh, where we going next? Yo, can we talk about the NFL? I think we haven't talked about the NFL in a minute, dogs.
Well,
Did you hear about what happened with the cell with the Commanders? It might be under investigation now.
Now that I saw the approval, but now the shit's under investigation.
Yeah, because they
Again?
think they got like Saudi money involved and shit like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Somebody's suing them for $500 million or some shit like that over the
Suing
sale.
who? Dan Gilbert or suing Daniel Snyder or
I think they're suing the NFL for the sale of the team, which is light money for the NFL, by the way. $500 million ain't shit for the
yes,
NFL.
let's be clear.
They're a multi-billion-dollar organization, but
Let's be clear.
that shit is wild right now. How do you feel, Dan, about your squad going into this off season right now with the people y'all got to sign back to stay competitive?
I said it when we covered the draft the other day, man. Like, I think we're fine. I've been seeing a lot of Eagles because I follow the Eagles on TikTok.
Right.
I've been seeing like this young group, like they're having fun together right now. It's off season, they're up to the voluntary off season workouts, and I seen Jalen Hurts there. That's a bonus. Like that's like to me.
Well, he's got his money already, so
yeah. But here's the thing: as we normally see traditionally, when you get your money and throwing them the big air quotes, a lot of those quarterbacks
fall back
and tend to wait until it's mandatory.
I feel that's the older quarterbacks not as much as the younger quarterbacks, though.
But even with some of these younger quarterbacks, we don't see a lot of the younger quarterbacks going, especially when you're on contract number 2.
Right.
But the factor of, like, to me, it's showing me everything that I'm seeing. Again, like I see these guys having fun together, doing all the Eagles charity events, things like that, seeing some of the off-season workout videos and things like that. Like, I see they are not taking last year for granted. And that's how I see it. And on a wave and mindset of, yo, we can do this again. And that's what that tells me just by seeing. I think I seen Devontae and Jalen. And I think I saw AJ in a video or two. But the veterans that was in the Super Bowl with the team last year were at the voluntary off season.
Is Kelsey coming back?
I believe so. I'd have to look into it. But it's mandatory for the rookies. It's mandatory camp for the rookies, but volunteer for the vets. So to see the vets there with the rookies, that just tells me this team building is shaping up to be just fine. Like I said, I'm still at minimum right now calling for a division win and a great playoff run is all I want to see, and I'll be happy. Okay. Because we're still young.
Right.
Conscious Son says Eagles will be fine. They got replacements and younger talent. Only thing that will stop them is injuries. Absolutely. Injuries and any other kind of sports reporter who dares to try to call us a fucking dream team, which we're not yet.
You don't want that curse.
We don't need that bad juju on us today.
I'm gonna tell you though, having said all that, right?
Yeah.
The Giants, I like the direction they're going, but it hasn't been enough for them to move the needle.
They're not taking the next step yet. It's a development. They overachieved last year. We can admit that.
Correct.
I like what they did with some pieces on the defensive side of the ball, and they tried to solidify the O-line a little bit. The only thing that really worries me is what they're going to do with Saquon. I hope they can extend him, but they pulled their original offer off the table, and
Yeah.
now
They're playing games.
like
They're playing games with Saquon.
they're like happy if he has to take the
Yeah.
fucking franchise tag. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's
Right.
and the difference between, I mean, who are we to say like what's the difference between 10 million and 13 million? Like we could give a shit, but to him, I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's in that mode, but I like they got some depth at wide receiver now. We have some actual people that can catch the ball. I really am interested and excited about this Waller situation with our tight end. Like we stole him from like the Raiders. I'm really, if he can stay healthy, that could be a real problem.
Big gift.
That could be a real problem.
It's a
I
big
know
gift.
it's a lot. It's every year is a big if. Like Kurtzon said, injuries, man. It's the NFL, and injuries are going to happen. Just to who they happen to is what matters the most. If it's a secondary player, you can kind of get by with that. But if it's a main cog in your wheel, that shit can up. And it's also about how you. And this is why the NFL is so layered. Like you got to have somebody who's behind them who's almost just as good as the guy they replace. Like that shit is hard, bro.
It's beyond tough.
Yeah, the talent that drops off from a starter to a backup is significant at a lot of positions, man. It's and the NFL is all about exposing you. As soon as somebody goes down, they're attacking a backup on the next play. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, like, so what you're saying now is like when my Eagles did win the Super Bowl. If you look at the layer of depth we had across the board, like just from the running back position, like I forget that LeGarrette Blount was an option for us,
right?
And it was LeGarrette Blount. I forgot the other running back, and I think Boston Scott was there, and
the backup quarterback did. I mean. That's what really made the season for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
The backup quarterback saved the day after, once again, as I like to always say, Carson Wentz, he cooked the dinner, he set the table nice.
He set the table.
He put the forks and the spoons and the knives where they're supposed to go. And then Nick Foles finished the food. He hosted the dinner party and closed out the show.
Yep. And you know what? And a lot of teams could have. A lot of teams in that position might have folded because the backup situation is nowhere near as strong as the starter. But Nick Foles had a lot of confidence. He trusted his offense. Mind you, the talent around him helped tremendously. And that's what got him over the hump. You know what I'm saying? Like to put him in a position to win it all. So like that's one of the few sports where the backup, where the talent it just drops off a cliff from starter to backup. It's insane. I don't think any other sport is like that. Not baseball, basketball. You can get away with it unless it's your main player. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody. If Kobe goes down, there's nobody replacing Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a generational talent. Same thing with LeBron. Like you're not gonna get those 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. That's just off the table at that point. Right. And you need, as a collective group, to bring that up. And sometimes that's hard to coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like, while we're on football, not to take control.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's going back to you. We have to say rest in peace to the legend of all legends in the NFL. When the world lost Jim Brown at the age of 87.
Yes.
A few days ago this week. And so this dude, man, like when they try to name like best players ever type players, if you put Jim Brown at number 1, I can't be mad at you. You know, I remember the NFL Network put Jerry Rice at number 1. I'm okay with that to a point. But
there was no Jim Brown though. There's never been another Jim Brown.
Yeah, for what Jim Brown did in I think he had a 9 or 10 year career.
Very short, yeah.
Held the Russian title forever until till Walter Payton took it over, right?
Yep.
Freaking, and then think about that. He held that record for so damn long. playing less games, watching his highlights. Like the dude legitimately was unstoppable
He
when the
was a
game
man
was,
amongst boys, bro.
but the game was way more violent back then.
Way more violent.
Way
This shit
more
was
violent
crime.
back
It was
then,
a
too.
crime. It was a crime, bro.
For sport athlete,
Yeah,
and
lacrosse. He was a monster.
I was about to mention how everybody said lacrosse was his best sport.
Yeah,
It wasn't even football. It wasn't even football. But then
what?
transitioned into acting. It then transitioned into acting and obviously political activism and stuff
But
like
that's the
that.
thing, Dan. He did a complete 180. Like he was Black
Yes,
Power.
Jim Brown over Jim Thorpe. Always.
He was all Black Power movement. Was all for the cause. And then like now you see him standing next to Trump. You're just like, how? How did that happen?
But here's the thing. See, and I mentioned this when it happened too, because we took shots at him. We took shots at Steve Harvey. We did it on this podcast. Everybody in the world did it. I don't give a fuck who's in office. If you're trying to work for your people, you go have that conversation.
Yes, you do. But I don't think he was having that conversation with.
We don't know what they had. My bad, but we don't know what they had in closed doors. We don't know what they had, the kind of conversation they had behind closed doors. Steve Harvey mentioned it on his radio show, the type of conversation he had with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when we seen the pictures, obviously we know that Trump was about the photo op.
Right.
And so that's what it looked like when you don't know what the conversation is and how instant reactionary the internet is. You're just gonna see a picture and it's like, oh shit, it's that, blah, 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 blah. Nobody says the same things about Trump in the 80s, taking all the pictures with all the rappers, Tyson, all that.
Right.
They don't go
Wu-Tang.
backwards. They don't go backwards and talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Guess who's the Black Trump? You say,
shit. But yeah, no, he's definitely a legend. Oh, I mean, you can definitely call him a GOAT. He was definitely the GOAT of the running back position, bar none. And like you said, you watch the clips. He could run you over. He didn't have to run you over. He could just juke you out your shoes, leave you standing there. And he was fast. He was a big dude, but he was fast. Like nobody saw that combination of size and speed before. And like I said with Jokic, his talent transcended eras. Jim Brown could have played in any era of the sport, and he'd probably be even more dominant now with the way the rules are set up. You know what I'm saying? He'd just be a menace.
Maybe
only because
so? As you said, the game evolves,
right?
And so like like how we have debates of like, the 80s and the 90s basketball is just that much better than today's kids. This, that, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, all that shit, right? Today's kids are faster and stronger, almost across the board for the most part. And you got to take into account the style that the games are played in.
Yeah.
Would some of these bigger, faster, stronger kids, how much more could some of these kids do in an era where you're playing with Deacon Jones, who's clotheslining motherfuckers?
Bro, I don't know. I think if some of these kids who are super athletic, if they got smacked the shit out of, they'd be like, yo, I'm not doing this no more. You know what I'm saying?
Possibly. Well, yeah, and you know what? That's taken into account, which this was something I was running through my head for some reason. Like, I was trying to maybe I might have tried to. No, I didn't write it yet, but I was thinking of writing it maybe to see if I could start developing jokes again, maybe try a open mic. And one of the thoughts that was running through my head yesterday of like, yeah, our era is better than your era, and we're stronger than your era because think about all the dumb shit we used to do. Niggas used to have rock fights. You used to play tackle football in the freaking street on asphalt.
Bro, jumping roofs
in a
schoolyard.
We would fall and get right back the fuck up. Where a kid now would get slapped, and it's either they're running for a gun or they're crying to mommy. So
Right.
I that's a little perspective we do got to put
Well,
in.
that's why I said Jim Brown, because he played in such a violent era of football. If he played the same way he played back then in this era, he'd be considered a menace. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
could choose to run you over. Like there'd probably be more offensive personal fouls called against him, but for the way he hit people, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Like it probably would have been more violent than a Marshawn Lynch.
Right. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like he led sometimes with the crown of his helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like he went out to his way to hurt you if he wanted to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
If he had
yeah, if he had to, yeah. Like he's like, yo, listen, I heard all these guys was talking shit about me over there. I'm gonna make them feel me today. Literally.
And you know what else too the breaking of tackles.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
Today's tackling, like, yeah, today's tackling has changed due to safety reasons, which is well justified and reasonable, valid reasons, because of concussions and things like that. Concussion wise, they played with harder helmets. I mean, the padding inside the helmets were just like
was limited.
Was literally
limited.
like fucking like iced over, frozen with concrete and styrofoam. You know
like even a Christian Okoye, I think he would have stupid numbers.
I don't know about this comment here.
Brandon
Jacobs from the Giants remind me of Jim Brown.
Nah, bro.
Not even close.
Nah, bro. I get what you're saying, and nobody really wanted to tackle Jacobs' head up like that because he was so big, but he never took advantage of his size the way Jim Brown did. You know what I'm saying?
He did in the beginning when people didn't know who he was, until he turned into who I call Twinkle Toes and decided to try to run in the outside gaps. And as soon as he started going lateral to try to break, did he have open field speed? Yes. If he was going lateral to try to get to the outside gaps, it was a wrap for him. Twinkle Toes couldn't tap dance his way around nobody.
He could have had a much better career if he stayed between the tackles, because nobody wanted that smoke. Nobody wanted that smoke. But you know who reminds me of him a little bit? Eddie George, because Eddie George would punish you when he ran between the tackles or the outside. He was a strong running back.
He wasn't like a break tackle kind of monster though.
Right.
I would have wanted to compare him not just because of the teams, but more to an Earl Campbell, mainly in body size, but not run style.
You know what though? In today's game, Jim Brown would have probably been more of a Marshall Faulk type, a pass catching.
I think Jim Brown in today's game would be like a Marshawn Lynch.
But I'm gonna just run through your face.
But more powerful. right. But stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Conscious said, that drives me crazy. Jacobs, Henry, Zeke, they ended up changing them into scat backs and taking them away from their strengths. I hate that about football sometimes. Derrick Henry should have been left out of that comment.
Derrick Henry does not shy away from contact at all.
And he's the anomaly that can do everything that I mentioned that Jacobs couldn't do.
Right. You know who was a menace like that? R.I.P. Marion Barber.
For like 3 seasons. Yes.
Yo, he was a problem, bro.
They call him the Barbarian for a reason.
Yo, that dude would look and seek out contact. And his breaking and tackle ability was very high. Like he was definitely running through. I hated him.
And he asked, how about Terrell Davis from the Broncos?
He was an outside runner too, though.
Who was that from the Rams? Oh, Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson?
Eric Dickerson was different.
Let me tell you something. That was my favorite running back of all time. I loved Eric Dickerson. Like the way he played the game. He could run by you, he could run through you, he could catch. He was super fast. Eric Dickerson was different, man. Eric Dickerson was different.
Now, Terrell Davis, to me, like he was one of my least favorite running backs to watch at anybody. There was just something about him that was like, all right, he got them 2,000-yard seasons off with great offensive lines. I'm not taking away from him because he did spectacular, but it
Right.
just his career, in my opinion, felt like it got romanticized on how we romanticizes Michael Jordan's 6 years of championship wins. Terrell Davis, and I say this by way of like Terrell Davis's career didn't feel that long.
But nobody was scared of Terrell Davis. Like he was like, it's Terrell Davis. Like he didn't put fear in your team. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, we got to be aware of him. But it like he didn't put that. When there's some players in that field when they step on the field, you feared them. Like LT, you feared that man when he was on the field. Marshall Faulk, you feared Marshall Faulk because he could burn you so many ways.
Here,
you know what I'm saying?
I got Terrell Davis's stats right now. Regular season, he played from 95 to 2001, so that's 3, 6, 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Now accolades, he racked them up. 3 Pro Bowls, 3 All Pros, 2 Super Bowls, AP MVP in 98, Super Bowl MVP for one of the years.
He did the most in his time, for sure.
He did. In a little 7-year career, he did a lot. He did a lot, but he only ran for 7,600 yards.
Damn, he didn't even get 10,000.
Nah, but
what's his receiving yards like?
And well, I'll get to that. I'll get to the receiving yards in a second. But career rushing yards. First year he went 11-17. Then he went up to 1538. Then he went to 1750. Then he did the 2008. Then it just went, I'm sure, due to injury. Yeah, because he played 4 games, 5 games, and then 8 games the next season. 211 yards, 282, 701.
That's why he didn't get the 10,000.
So he literally made his whole Hall of Fame career in 4 years.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
That's wild, bro.
But he had that 2,000 yards season.
The one 2,000 yard season.
Yeah.
Now we got to remember, I'm gonna look at his receiving yards, which altogether was 1,280 for his career. In his era of football, it wasn't about the pass catching running backs. It was still the downhill runner.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't fault that and knock that against him. It's just bugged out to see, like when now even more now looking over those numbers, I can't compare him to a Jim Brown. I can't compare him to a Barry Sanders. I can't compare him to a Walter Payton, even though I hate to mention the name Emmitt Smith. I can't compare him to an Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, no, he didn't run like that. He did not run like that.
You can't compare him to the greatest of the great. I'm not knocking that he made the Pro Bowl, but when he did, it really made me question at the time why. It honestly did.
It had to be a down year for somebody then, because I mean, he was playing at the tail end of some greats' careers when he was in
would
the league.
Would you say he was more like a Roger Craig type style player? Not so much runner, but a player.
I don't know. Roger Craig was tough, man.
Because Roger Craig was a dual, was like Marshall Faulk. He was a dual running back. Sorry.
And here, I'll give you some of Jim Brown's stats so we can bring it back to Jim Brown. He played from 57 to 65. There's 8
years.
9 years in the league.
9 years. Okay.
9 years, right? Games started, games played. He played every game for each season. 12,
really?
12, 14, 14, 14, 14.
Wow,
14.
this dude did not miss a game, bro.
Well, if the league was only at 12 games from 57,
bro, but we're talking about one of the most violent eras of football, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl every year.
Oh,
9-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All Pro, 1-time NFL championship. One of probably the last Browns title.
Yeah.
3-time AP MVP, 3-time UPI MVP, 3-time NEA MVP, Hall of Fame All 60s team, Rookie of the Year in 57, Player of the Year, Yeah, 3 times college. This is all college shit. But yeah, made the Pro Bowl every single year he played.
What was his rushing totals then?
His rushing total was 12,312. Now, from 57 to 65, ran for 942 yards, then 1527, 1329, 1257, 1408, 966, 1863, 1446, and
Damn.
1544.
Yo,
Only
he was out
two-
there killing
Only
people.
one season was 4 yards off of 1,000, and the other one was 48 yards off, or 58 yards off of 1,000.
Jesus. Yeah, man. That's consistency right there.
And then his receiving was 2,499.
Damn.
So he did catch the ball out of the backfield. Had
Damn, he still had more than Terrell Davis.
20 receiving touchdowns and 100 rushing touchdowns. You know, like, he was unreal for his time. Like you said, he showed men amongst boys level of play.
Yeah.
On the field.
All right, Peter
Men
Jim
amongst
Brown.
boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
Peter Jim Brown.
But we didn't even get to the real Jim Brown that lasted longer, which was his movie career.
Yeah, because a lot, people that saw him probably, kids, like when I saw Jim Brown, it wasn't because of football. I saw him in the movies. And my pops used to tell me, he's like, yo, Jim Brown was Jim Brown was a problem. And he was like, yo, he was just mean. It was like he just went on the field with a distaste in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like a level of disgust.
You know the one thing I remember about Jim Brown, because I never got to watch him play. Unlike TJ.
Terrible.
Okay, little O. Okay.
I never got to watch him play, but I remember in his highlights, he always used to get up slow, like he was hurt, and against teams would think like, oh, yo, we finally got him or whatever. And now he was like, what's the next? Run the next play. That was the one thing I remember in his highlights.
You could just keep feeding him, bro. You could feed him every play of the game, and he'd probably just wear your defense out. And it was like, I'm not tackling dude no more. It's costing me too much of I'm making a business decision. I want to walk at the end of my career. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not tackling this dude no more, man. That's crazy. And he wasn't slow. That's the whole deal. He was fast. He was a damn near a record class sprinter on top of that. The dude was fast. That's
he was
insane.
A freight train every play, yo.
Bro, imagine lining up. You've never seen him play before, and you go to like try to put the hammer on him, and he just steps over you, bro.
Could you imagine all the separated shoulders?
Bro, bro, not even separate. Your bell was rung. And he was like, yo, you got to get up and do this again? Nah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know where the fuck I'm at right now. You know
I'm taking my injuries. Fuck that.
But Jim Brown, the actor, though, like, I'm looking through these fucking titles. Like,
let me get a rib.
I would say because that's definitely one of my top favorites that he was in, and I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I'm gonna get you, sucker. Yeah.
Any given Sunday is one of my top ones.
Yo, that conversation he had with LT, classic, bro.
Yeah,
classic actor. That was real acting right there.
Three the Hard Way was
Three the Hard Way was a solid movie.
But what was some of your favorite? Which is funny is he was even in the Beef DVD as is shown in his credits now. As I'm looking,
bro, do you remember that movie Attack from Mars? He was in that
Mars
shit.
Attacks,
Mars Attacks. He was hysterical in that shit.
Let me show it on the screen right now. So
he was dressed as a pharaoh and shit, as a casino, working in a casino.
What was some of your favorite Jim Brown movies that he was in or he starred in?
Well, Three the Hard Way.
It's definitely any given Sunday.
Yeah,
I gotta watch Three the Hard Way. But I remember him from I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, but I loved him in Any Given Sunday. Yeah. Because to me, he just epitomized, the coach, football coach and all that shit. So
but he brought a level of realness to the game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if you played football or you were heavily involved in football, what he's saying was like, I mean, of course he's reading from a script and everything. That shit was well written. You know what I'm saying? Like he really carried that message across. So it was dope. It
Yo,
was
but
dope,
that
man.
movie, just I mean, on any given Sunday though, like that movie was like, you know what that was? Is like, as I love to bring back and recall. Remember the show Playmakers from ESPN
Yes.
that the
Yeah.
NFL got pulled because it was like, hold up, this shit's a little too real. Any
Of
given
the wild
Sunday,
shit. Yeah.
Any Given Sunday just took that show in and made it a movie. But it was
What came
throughout.
first, though? Dan, what came first?
Any Given
Let me
Sunday.
look into it. Any
I'm
Given
gonna
Sunday.
say.
Well,
I think yeah.
let me look into that.
Because Playmakers was a hell of a show.
I gotta go back and watch that again now.
Yeah, it's just hard to find. Okay, Any Given Sunday came first. My bad.
Mhm.
So yeah. So I said that backwards. I can't retract that statement now because we live. But Playmakers took what Any Given Sunday was and just expanded it in more detail. But Any Given Sunday was literally like, here's the first exposure of what real professional sports look like. You know, and from every aspect of, like you said, the aging veterans, the OG retired veterans that are now coaches, to
even Dennis Quaid, who was the old quarterback in that movie, like he was like
dealing with the quarterback struggle,
right, and
with
trying to save his job and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
same thing with the running back situation, which in Playmakers they expanded on a lot, a lot differently, because in that situation was running back, it was young running back and Omar Gooding coming in to take over for the OG running back who was plagued with injury. And Playmakers, it was little LL freaking being the hot shot running back, fighting with his quarterback, and the quarterback taking over as a from backup to starter, and like all those dynamics is shit that we see in the media played out still to this day.
Right.
Yo, that was along the lines of like John Elway being the aging quarterback and Michael Vick coming in, and trying to get a start.
That was Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That was Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love currently.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets now, so
yeah, totally different now.
Just like Brett Favre was.
Right. Right.
But yeah, those were like hit close to home. It gave you a better perspective of how what these athletes deal with real life situations and the wildness they had with money, bro. Shit was crazy.
Yeah,
the shit was crazy.
Yeah,
like when you get that contract, you can do whatever you want, basically.
Word. But I said, Jim Brown was just beyond impactful in just way too many ways that could be described, and just
multi-generational.
20. Yeah. And I say good or bad, which the bad is what people perceived with the Trump meeting. But like I said before, like we don't know what their conversation was.
Nope. Listen, Jim Brown didn't know where he was, man. And I'm gonna leave it at
that. Again, I can't say that because we didn't know what their conversation was. All we saw was the imagery. And how could you stand next to this man? But like I said, I don't give a fuck who the leader, I don't give a fuck who the president is, or even if it's like the head of a company or whatever. If you got issues and pressing matters for your people, you go man the fuck up, woman the fuck up, or person the fuck up, however you identify, and have that conversation.
You have to.
You gotta have the.
You have to. Whatever happens after that conversation is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But like, at least you had the conversations. Like, oh, this motherfucker's not going to listen to me. Okay, all right. I see where I stand now.
Bring the shit straight to their front door, and whatever the imagery after that, let people talk. Unless you bring out what the conversation was, let people talk. You can say whatever the fuck you want. But he might have been in that room working on some shit that probably do benefit us now that we don't know. We would hope. Yeah,
We
Yeah,
would hope, man. We gotta hope at this point. We gotta hope.
but he led a life that helped us in many ways that many things.
I mean,
sure
if
we
you're an
can-
athlete, I mean, you can see it in today's stars now. That's what you want to model your career after, a secondary life, because you retire at such a young age. You need a second stream of income, and it's not going to be as great maybe as what you made in the league, but you still want to be averaging maybe 3 to 5 million or something like that, which
Yeah.
just sounds insane anyway, but you still want to you don't want to be living check to check 20 years down the road, because
right.
the NFL pension ain't built for you to live like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
But the current NFL salaries though are totally different. And nowadays, it's only the top of the top players are gaining
Right.
generational wealth.
right.
And that's a huge difference. So like a player like him in today's game should be on like a Deshaun Watson level contract. Should be
Right.
on like a Lamar Jackson level contract, because his level of talent you can't replace or mistake. Like,
You know what?
worth every
It's
penny.
funny that you say that, but look at JJ Redick, right? What he's done post career, right? He was a good basketball player. Even what's the dude? The 3-point
Richard Jefferson.
Richard Jefferson, the
Stat.
white dude, Tim, the fuck is his name? I can't remember. He's
Tim
on ESPN.
Hasselbeck.
No,
Tim
the
Hasselbeck.
NBA. No, the 3-point special.
Tim Legley.
Legler.
Legler, yeah.
Legler, yeah.
Like he was a specialist at his thing. Like he wasn't dominating no games or nothing like that, but he took his
Right,
career
right.
and made himself better. He's probably making more money now than he's ever made in the NBA. Basically, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well,
Yeah.
you could say been doing it longer than NBA.
Yes. Yes, and I'm
I'll
sure
be-
he's got shooting camps and shit like that where he's helping and developing young players and stuff like that. But like a lot of these guys who were valuable role players on their team, they just wasn't the star. Continue in their career. Look at Ryan Clark. I mean, he was a good defensive back, but he wasn't no Deion Sanders, Sean Springs.
Palomalu.
Yeah, like he wasn't that guy, but he's made himself and he's extended his Dominic Foxworth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like these players were
We
good.
lost you right when you said because we all froze.
Okay.
But, you said Ryan Clark, Dominique Foxworth, freaking
Yeah,
Richard Jefferson, freaking
Right.
Vince Carter. Like I said, it's a stat, and then what's his name? They do Up in Smoke or All the Smoke.
Matt
Matt Barnes.
Yeah, Matt Barnes.
Matt
Steven
Barnes,
Jackson. Steven Jackson.
Steven
Like
Jackson.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, look for this guy. Look for this guy to get his own show. Redick, because to me, he's one of the better analysts on ESPN right now. He's definitely the only one that's gonna challenge what Stephen A says.
Oh, he's done it many a times.
Yes,
who's that?
Redick, JJ Redick.
Yeah. Redick. You know what? Redick gives you the real. Like he was like, I was in the locker rooms. I was in the locker room.
We got
I
the
was on the
vibration waves on the screen too.
Yeah.
Go back and look at this from the hour and 8-minute mark, and you're gonna see the waves on your screen from the
I saw that time.
That don't happen though.
Nah,
But we got a question. I'm sorry that I cut your statement off, but it said, who is really better, Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu? Is Ed Reed no brainer?
Oh, Ed Reed. Ed Reed.
It's Ed
I don't
Reed.
know, man. I just saw a highlight clip of Polamalu. He was a monster, dude.
He was a monster hitter. Ed Reed did it all. And I'm not
Polamalu got interceptions. Oh, you know what? Let's pull it up right now. Pull it up right now.
Go ahead, talk, but no you bias. It's Ed Reed.
No, I'm not calling bias for either player, but I'm just saying.
Me.
Okay. Oh no, Miami. You bias. Yeah.
No,
Yo,
me.
I wish Jamal was here for this question. But to me, I think what set Ed Reed apart from Paul Marlin, he was a ball hawk, man. He was like LeBron James. He was like LeBron James on the court. That's how he was on the field. Like he knew everybody's play, where everybody was supposed to go.
Polamalu is the same thing, man. That's why he got so many like Palomalo was in backfields, like you know what I'm saying, at the handoff. You got to understand, Palomalo was a different dude. He was the only one jumping. He was the first guy to jump over offensive linemen to get in the backfield to break up a handoff. You know what I'm saying? A 3rd and 1, and Palomalo's leaping over guys half his size. You know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna start with Troy. All right.
Just give the total.
8-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champ. All team 2000s. Defensive Player of the Year 2010. The stats: defensive interceptions 32 on the career, touchdowns 3.
How many sacks?
Forced fumbles 14, fumble recovery 7, sacks 12. Total tackles: combo 783, solo 583, assisted 200. So the combination is solo and assisted. And we'll say QB hits 12. That don't make sense.
No, it don't make sense.
It don't make sense if he had QB hits 12. That goes right along with 12 sacks. Let's go to Ed Reed. Let me make sure it changed on the screen. I believe I'm on Ed Reed, right? I'm just making sure for the people. Nope, I didn't go to Ed Reed.
No, it's not there yet.
I gotta stop share, go back. And now I'm clicking Ed Reed stats.
He probably got more interceptions.
And as we're looking through, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, 1-time Super Bowl champ, same 2000s All-Team, Hall of Fame All-Team, couple more awards. Overall career numbers: interceptions 64.
Damn, he doubled them up.
Touchdowns 7.
They're about even on that.
Nope, he's got 4 more than Troy.
Okay.
Forced fumbles 11. Troy had 14. So they're not technically not far off.
No, they're almost the same person.
Sacks. Troy had 6 more, and tackles was close to the same.
Okay, imagine so we had them 2 on his field at the same time.
I'm still taking Ed Reed.
Yeah, no, I give you that. Ed Reed was a field general for sure.
All right, so you want to know what ChatGPT says?
We said no AI. We don't. No, but go ahead.
Okay.
What is no AI? What is chat? No. Oh, say it.
No.
All right. So, ChatGPT says both Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu were outstanding NFL safeties, and it's difficult to definitively say who's better. Ed Reed was known for his incredible ball hawking skills and ability to create turnovers. He finished his career with 64 turnovers, 64 interceptions, and 13 defensive touchdowns, and was known for his ability to reach quarterbacks and anticipate their throws. Right. And he was also a strong tackler and leader on the field. Troy Polamalu was known for his versatility and his ability to make game-changing plays. He was a hard-hitting safety with excellent coverage skills and was known for his ability to blitz the quarterback and disrupt opposing offenses. He finished his career with 32 interceptions and 14 forced fumbles, and was a key player on the Steelers defense during their Super Bowl victories.
Yeah, Polamalu was a huge disruptor, but for me, I like Ed Reed's leadership and captain abilities on the field.
Yes,
more than anything. Like that's where Ed Reed could do the same, but like to get the ball past him was difficult.
Yes,
they are pretty much equal.
I like
his defenses, Ed Reed's defenses, and you know, it's initially you want to say, oh, it's luck. You know, he just played with good teams, but did he really though? Because you come from Miami Hurricanes defense, you know, and we spoke at length about the Miami Hurricanes.
He came from the greatest college team ever.
Yeah. Correct.
And then he goes to another monster defense.
Yeah. You know, so it's like It's like, damn, is it him or was he just lucked into? Because you had Ed Reed, you had Bart Scott, you had Ray Lewis, you had all these guys. You had Ray Martindale as a coordinator.
Tony,
You know, so
Yeah,
I mean,
he was definitely a byproduct of that defensive line getting to the quarterback and fucking it up.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
but here's the difference, though. All right, but he was a byproduct. But when the byproduct, or air quotes byproduct, stands out above everybody else, like
yes,
you are the fucking man. Like
you are the man.
Yes,
Dan, you are the man.
Yes,
because this is why I kind of disagree with TJ. Because you think about those Giants teams that won the one Super Bowl, the last 2 Super Bowls we won.
Yeah,
Their safeties, their secondary. Who remembers their secondary? It was that line. It was a line that made everybody great.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you, but listen, as great as that defense was, the Giants always had to come back and win a lot of games in those, and especially in that first with Eli, that first Eli Super Bowl. The defense was great, but we were always playing from behind, bro.
Yeah.
When we got the lead, we put the hammer down. But you know, we have to get close or tie the game up, and then you could worry about now the defense is putting the clamps on you. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy by far. And people always knock Eli for this. I'm like, Eli had like the most fourth quarter comebacks in the year that year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so you just can't say it was just the defense.
Well, you know what it is with Eli. It's you got to look at the career overall.
Yes.
And all he did what he was supposed to do at the right times.
Yes.
You can't knock him for that.
No.
You did what you're supposed to do.
He didn't lose the game, Dan. He did not lose the game for them. Right. And that's what people fail to realize. He did not put him in a situation where they were going to lose the game. And we didn't have the greatest wide receivers either. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Odell, we really hadn't had a wide receiver like that. You know what I'm saying?
Victor Cruz was decent.
He was good, but he was more of a slot receiver, bro. Like he wasn't burning people on the outside like that, like a Randy Moss, like a Dez Bryant. There were so many better wide receivers. You forgot he's playing in the era of Megatron. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have Plaxico Burress was good, but he wasn't putting the fear of God in people when he's lined up across from them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just different.
Especially after shooting himself.
Said Bob.
No knock on my Giants teams, though. You know what I'm saying? They did what they had to do to win. Nobody feared anything. Yeah, nobody feared anything. And they were never picked to win anything.
In Pittsburgh, he was a problem. Right. When they were going in like 6 seeds.
Yeah, like nobody says like, oh, I see the Giants as a dark horse. They didn't even consider us a dark horse.
They didn't consider us a dark horse, no.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying, like out of the bull. And every step was like they're still going against the Giants. Every step of the way, they were still picking the better team. Rightfully so. We hadn't proved anything to anybody. So I get that. I get that immensely. Yeah. But you gotta admit the Giants' offensive line was the real deal. There was a real deal. And what proved to me Eli was a great and what proved to me that Eli was a great quarterback was that championship game against that monster defense in San Francisco. That championship game that they got to the Super Bowl and they killed Eli Manning. He got up and his helmet was facing another way. And he corrected that shit. That. Yo, he got clocked relentlessly. I didn't know how tough this dude was until I saw that game. Like after that, he feared nothing after that. Because San Fran beat the shit out of him. And San Fran had a top-notch, their linebackers were phenomenal that year. And they had a decent pass rush as well. The secondary was like
but after each Super Bowl season, it was like right back to who they were.
Right. It fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
But again, I can't be mad because once again, you did what you're supposed to do at the right time.
When it counted, correct.
And that's what everybody should strive for in the playoffs. To get
When the
there,
money's
number one.
on the table, who's showing up? Joel Embiid,
Exactly.
James Harden.
Jalen Brunson. Shout out to Jalen Brunson for doing what you do.
Chill. We did what we had to do. We're real.
Shout out to Jalen Brunson for doing what you had to do. Exactly.
Side derail one more time from me, because again, this was TJ's show to
Sorry.
Hakeem
No,
Nicks.
no, it
Stop
was
it,
me.
Dude. No.
Yeah, I saw.
Hakeem Nicks. Where's Hakeem Nicks now, my guy? He's not even on TV.
Back in North Carolina, I guess.
Stephen A. had said, and this was his opinion, but he said, if Mike D'Antoni becomes the new coach of the 76ers, this is all James Harden's fault. Do y'all agree or disagree? I
completely disagree
with this shit.
Completely disagree. That's not going to change the outcome of that team. Mike, how many rings does Mike D'Antoni have? I'll wait.
0.
I'll wait.
We'll keep waiting.
And but more importantly, what style of offense is going to run? So what?
When's the last time as Mike D'Antoni coach? Is he even like a coach on a staff anywhere?
Where's Mike D'Antoni? Where the fuck was he coaching? He was coaching somewhere. He was assistant coach somewhere. I forgot. But he usually has 2 different styles of coaching. Either we're gonna run up and down the court, or we're just gonna play iso ball, for 20 seconds.
7 seconds or less, bro. 7 seconds or less, man. He made that shit popular.
So I don't know.
He was the last assistant coach with the Nets in 2021.
So he's been out the game for what, 4 or 5 years now?
He's been out for a minute. But
why would you even bring him back now? Why even mention his name? Why even mention his name?
Let's see. As a player,
I'll be honest with you. I would rather bring back David Black.
They should go get Mike Atkinson, the guy that they let go.
I really want the Knicks to get him because he's a hell of a coach.
Kenny Atkinson, my bad. Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson is a hell of a coach when it comes to development. He knows how to develop his players. So I would rather the Knicks get him, but my compatriots on the show believe in letting things cook. We're gonna let things cook with Thibodeau.
But who would I mean, because there's a plethora of good coaches that would let go. That was ridiculous. They should have never, like we discussed it the week before about these head coaches that were being let go. And I mean, if we had Mike Budenholzer, right? Is he going to change the landscape for the Knicks of getting to the second round?
Yes.
You think so?
He got a ring. So yes.
All right, but does he get a ring with Julius Randle?
No. We're who? Julius who? He's out of here. He's fucking out of here.
So that leads me to the next part of the conversation, because as a Knicks fan, I need to hear y'all opinions of what we need to do this offseason to elevate ourselves. We're still a player away, no doubt. And to replace Julius Randle's production of 25 and 10 is going to be hard to do unless we get somebody of equal talent or more people for him to equal that number. And I don't know where we go from there to get that. I don't know who's
my opinion.
Right, so
see who some of the big name free agents are.
I think Jaylen Brown is a free agent this year.
Yeah, but does he want to come to New York? Do we need another person in his position? I don't think so. We need somebody. We need somebody in the 3 or the 4 that's solid.
Who's available? Like, this is not adding like a Drew Holiday to the Bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Stay patient and see who becomes available.
Yes.
So
my thing is monitor the Milwaukee situation with Giannis. Like, I'd give away the fucking all our draft picks and maybe Julius, and I don't know. I don't want to give up Barrett because he had such a strong playoff, and quickly is on his way to becoming a great player. But we might have to do that to get a guy like Giannis, because he changes the landscape of that team.
Okay, so here, this is what frightens me, right? I remember growing up watching, well, not really watching, but you know, you see the box scores. The Atlanta Hawks during the late 80s, early 90s, they never got out of the second round. They did just enough to make the playoffs.
Right.
That's where the Knicks are at right now.
But they're in a better position because they have younger talent. They have draft capital. We have more than pretty much any team in the NBA right now to pull off a phenomenal deal.
Besides OKC.
Yeah, but I mean, who's going to Oklahoma, bro? It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. Now, I get that you could be a star anywhere you're at now. Yes, but your star is going to burn and shine much brighter in one place than it is over another. That's just facts. But it's like you look at Philly's situation. Nobody goes to Philly unless they're traded to Philly. And we're going back to the AI years. Nobody played with Iverson to help him get across that hump. He went to the finals with Eric Snow,
Mutombo tried.
Theo Ratliff. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was like, "Yo, I need to jump on that bandwagon." You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to.
Great point. When you really think about that, though, with Philly, like, it's you're drafted there, or
nobody ran to Philly,
or you're in a situation like James Harden where they kind of granted him the, where do you want to go?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they was able to give him a great package for it. But that's when you really think about it over the years, especially when they, the years of they just got good, which is now the last 5.
Right.
So, they were all draft picks.
Yeah. So what was the process for? Like what was all that tanking for? They had
to get great draft picks.
And they passed over other people to get people of lesser value. They passed over Tatum. They passed over so many talented players to get these other players. Where's Jahlil Okafor now? Where's Michael Carter-Williams at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where are these dudes at? Nerlens Noel is a backup at best now.
The thing about situations like that is always the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But
that goes on to the front office, Dan.
But we don't know, but we don't know what they'll end up being. I.e., when you mentioned last week, they had 2 AIs, and the one that I'm going to mention is Andre Iguodala.
Right.
He balled out in Philly, but it was Philly didn't have enough, and it was just like, okay, we see this kid's potential. We saw where he really shined once Golden State built what they built.
Right.
And then he had his role and was fine.
It's almost like a second career for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Forget he was in Philly.
Right. Yeah. At one time, I almost forgot he was in Philly, but that's where he started. But that's the thing. You don't know what you got sometimes until you can build properly around it. And
look at the Marbury Garnett situation in Minnesota. Nobody was going there. And they were a force, bro. They were a dynamic duo. They were one small forward away from being phenomenal team.
Yeah.
Phenomenal team. Right. KG and Marbury were unstoppable, but they were missing one player. They were still missing a player, man. Nobody's voluntarily going to fucking Minnesota. I'm sorry. It's just not a desirable location.
So the question is then, New York is the most desirable on paper. Without thinking about it, I hate to use the word on paper, but without thinking about it, New York is one of the most desirable places outside of South Beach to go.
Also, it's a make or break. It's a make you or break you town. Look how many famous people in all sports in New York, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, even hockey, that we've had big names. and they fucking cowered under the lights, bro.
Yeah,
It goes to
that's
that goes
true.
to what I just said about Philly and the Iguodala thing. But yeah, New York isn't like you could almost say New York, speaking of the Knicks, that is it's in many eyes it's not the most desirable because still who's the ownership group, and
Right.
and Dolan played a large factor. Now, yeah, World Wide West behind the scenes now makes it a different story. But at the time, let's remember how KD
Yes.
dissed us,
Yep.
but went to Brooklyn to shit the bed. So
Thank
it's like,
God we didn't get those. Thank God we didn't get him and Kyrie, man.
no, I would have been happy because it might have been a different story
Oh,
in
I see what you're
the
saying.
Knicks. If you look at it like that, it may have been a totally different scenario with the Knicks. But the Nets, the hype train was flooded in. They weren't coached well, or they had great coaching, but it didn't produce well. It didn't produce well. And then the surrounding pieces just weren't enough. Like everybody felt like they were babies in the league when they were over there. That was their surrounding cast. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to see who Joe Harris was by way of the 3-point contest, and then he got a little bit of shine. You know what I'm saying? Their center, I forgot the dude's name, who I think he's in Cleveland now, but he was decent. He was decent.
Oh,
Allen.
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. Spencer Dinwiddie had his couple shining moments here and there.
You know what?
in
That
between the
reminded
two.
me of the old Nets teams when Frank Wright was coaching them, and they had Kenyon and Richard Jefferson, but they had phenomenal players like VC and Jason Kidd.
But
So
before
Yeah.
didn't get over the hump until
Yeah,
they finally hit their 2-year run of making the finals.
right.
And be clear, Jason Kidd was probably the second best player in the NBA
Jason
when he was
Kidd's
with the
my
Nets.
favorite. He's my favorite all-time favorite point guard.
You know what I'm saying? Like behind Shaq, he carried that Nets team to the finals by himself.
That he did.
You know.
That
Facts.
he did.
Facts.
Word. But TJ, do we have anything else?
Let's see. I don't feel like talking about politics today. It's not a day for that. Nah, it's not a day for that. I don't know. This has been a great show so far. Oh, I didn't get your opinions on like what we should do with Julius though. Are you ready to let him go?
Keep him until we could get somebody to replace him. That's my point.
Okay.
That Portland has a third pick. Shit.
They're not letting go. They're not letting go of Dame. They're not letting go of Dame time. They're trying to build something to show that they're trying to make a good run at it. They're willing to trade the third pick for a boatload of shit, so they can have a better team around Dame. So
if you was Portland, you wouldn't trade Julius Randle, who's in his prime, and the Knicks first round pick for that third round pick. We're
gonna have to give up more than Randle.
Randle's in our first pick.
We don't have a pick this year.
Oh shit.
We don't have a pick this year.
Fucking Dallas, boy.
No. We gave the pick for Josh Hart.
Oh,
we already made that trade. We had to give up.
You can't say fucking Dallas when we kind of won that so far.
Yeah.
No, but Dallas tanked that last game. Because
and how did that work out for Dallas? They're not the number one.
Do we bring back KP?
I'd bring him back.
How you feel about that?
I'd bring him back
as a starter.
Over Randle, yes.
Is he going to do enough to stretch the offense?
The ball's not going to stick with KP.
Well, you know what? Playing with a point guard like Jalen Brunson, he might play differently. I'll say that. Jalen Brunson's is gonna make him a better player.
Yo,
but he lacks on defense though. KP doesn't want to smoke on defense.
He's more of a rim protector. He just go for block shots. I'll be honest with you, Brunson, and I'm gonna talk about Brunson for a little bit. I knew that Brunson was nice in last year's playoffs when he was with Dallas. I did not know that he was a fucking game changer the way he is. To me,
Nobody did. Nobody did. That's why we got clowned. That's why we got clowned for signing him for that money.
Yeah.
And everybody, and you know what? I give it to some of the media. They said they were wrong. JJ Redick even said I did not see this coming. I did not know the type of player. I knew Jalen Brunson was a good player, but I did not see Jalen Brunson being like an all NBA type player. He did not see.
You always like to fumble the names and say Rick Brunson.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. His pops was not that good.
y'all mentioned Dallas and y'all mentioned the tanking. They got the 10th pick. So all that tanking for what?
Yeah, because if Dallas had got the 11th pick, we would have got the pick.
Right, but look at Dallas' situation. They have no money. Kyrie doesn't look like he's coming back.
Yeah,
Doncic is he admitted he has to become a better defensive player, but with the pieces around him, they're not going to go far. The West is still the West. The West is still the West. The East has surpassed them. The East has surpassed the West in terms of talent, but it's not going to move the needle for Dallas. Even if they get the 10th pick, it's not moving the needle for them. They're in a full rebuild mode at this point. And they got that awful Tim Hardaway contract. Thank you for taking that. Dallas. They've made so many bad trades with the Knicks, it's ridiculous. Going back to the KP trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worked out for us. It has literally worked out for us on every level. And on top of the fact that we've beaten Dallas how many times now in the regular season? Like, we destroy them half the time when we play them.
It's funny we keep saying Dallas, thinking of the state of Texas, and Willie D line came to my mind. It said they got no money, they got one star, but everybody knows them.
But something ain't right.
But they're really a stupid squad.
Yeah.
Keep seeing what you say. I keep seeing the same sucker line in my headlights, some shit like that.
That's all on Mark Cuban, though. That's all on Mark Cuban.
He said, "Keep seeing the same sucker in my headlights." Yeah, that's the Knicks.
It's the Knicks, and you keep doing trades with us, and we gladly take them every time. Every time.
When it works.
So,
I mean, I hope not to continue, but I had hope for Tim Hardaway Jr.
I did too. Because of his lineage.
Well, but he was. I mean, it. You know what it was? He has no level of consistency with how solid his play was. It was just like 1 year. It was like you can't stop the kid. The next year, you can't find him.
Yeah,
it's facts.
You can't find him.
Facts, and he'll go, one game 3 for 11, and then he'll drop 40 on you. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
He's like, where's what are we getting the real Tim Hardaway Jr.? Where are you? Like, where are you? Because there's no middle ground for him. But now he's become a solid role player. And I guess that's
Timmy Jr. Please stand up.
And it was he was too tall. He was too tall for the Tim Hardaway senior dribble. Him being 6'6".
Yeah.
He couldn't do the killer crossover and shit.
But I mean, he can refine his handle. I mean, that's something like he's never really worked on. He could have been better at that and scoring. If he was a better rim, driving to going downhill and driving to the rim, that would open up his game for the shooting even more. Yeah. But he never really took advantage of that.
He's at most a spot shooter.
He's the opposite of what RJ is right now. All right. RJ is a menace, a force going downhill to the basket. And he just needs to work on his jump shot. But the thing is, RJ is actually trying to work on his jump shot and be a better shooter.
Yeah.
To open up his game more. So I mean,
and RJ has a bigger frame at this point in his career.
Yes. He's a taller player too. I think
Yeah.
RJ's what 6'9". You know what?
About 6'6", 6'7".
No, he's taller than that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's taller than that. But look at that draft class: Zion, Ja, and RJ.
Yeah.
I think we made out.
I think we made out pretty good.
I think we made out.
Yo, that's one thing we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about today, man. About John Morant. Bang bang, shoot him up, nigga, die slow.
I mean, so you got to look at the person at this point. It's not even the company you keep. You got to look at yourself as a person and be like, am I really throwing this money away like this?
Yo, I mean, you know, who is who? I think the bigger question is, who is pulling him to the side and saying, yo, bro, you're doing too much.
Bro, he's really tight with his pops. So where's his pops in this? Like, you know what I'm saying? His pops is at like damn near every game. He's behind the scenes knowing what's going on. I mean, he don't need a babysitter to go hang out and, you know, make sure he's doing the right thing. But like, you know, if you're this close to your son like that, and you know you're in his circle, what are you doing to get him to get on the right track? Like, the first time was a mistake. It ain't a coincidence now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like, what are you doing? He's definitely getting suspended before the season starts. God knows how many games and how much money he's going to lose on this. Nike pulled his shit off the internet.
I saw.
Come on, man. Like, you're really throwing, and you're a big, like they said, he's the face of the NBA. He's a great influence for the younger kids. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing, dogs?
His pops is really, at this point, up until now, he's living vicariously through him. You know, his pops has a failed basketball career. So Demetrius is excelling every way his pops wasn't. You know, big NBA career so far. So he's enjoying the limelight. And you forgot to be
but
a
the
father.
Limelight is costing you now.
The limelight
millions of dollars, man. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
Bro,
it's not too late for him to pull it back. It's not too late. He's still very young, so it's not too late for him to get it back. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to be squeaky clean from this point on.
Yeah, you got to be a humble kid. You got to be real humble dude.
Especially when he wasn't raised like that. Oh, he was not raised like that.
Right, but I don't see him being a humble dude though. That's my whole thing. You know, you want him to change completely, do a 180 and change.
It's not going to happen like that.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I think he'll be better. I think he'll be better and make better decisions.
I think Memphis need to cut him.
Nah, that's not happening, dude. That's
you
not happening. You don't think so? No, because another team will scoop him up immediately, bro. He might need a change of scenery, in all honesty, but they're not going to cut. That's your friend. I mean, granted, they played very well when he was injured for the last 2 years. Like they won a lot of games without him, and that goes out. That's a strength in the coach and the talent they have on that team. Like, Memphis is still a very good team without John Morant. Granted, they're even that much better with John Morant. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely puts them over the top as an elite team. He makes them elite. You know what I'm saying?
Not to mention these teams we're talking about, Dillon Brooks was still on that team. Whether you want to talk about it or not.
Right.
Dillon Brooks was still on that team. So now we're talking about no Dillon Brooks, no John Morant. You know, Jared Jackson Jr. is still a hell of a player. You still got Steven Adams. You still got Desmond Bane.
A very good guard. Very good guard. Very good guard. Their bench is solid too, though. It's like they're a complete team, you know, 1 through 10 or 8 or 9, whatever it is. They're a very solid team. And as you saw in the playoffs, when Ja got hurt, that changed the whole landscape of that playoffs with the Lakers.
I truly believe that his days are numbered in Memphis. If he steps
out of line, it might be days numbered in the NBA, dog.
Yeah. If not now.
No, I mean, he might be looking at a 35 game suspension, maybe half the season type shit at this point.
But see, okay, so now Dan isn't here, so I feel like I play host, right? Elephant in the room. You got Chris Kaman, and you got these other players, Draymond Green or whoever, also posing with guns.
That's different. Okay. That's different scenarios, though. You're talking about completely different scenarios. Kaman said, because I think Kaman was at a gun range at one time. He was in his house.
Kaman was posing with guns, with two assault rifles. Draymond Green was at a range, but Chris Kaman was in his living room posing with two guns up in the air.
In his living room, though, it's different if you're driving around in a car or at a strip club, bro. You can't compare your house to openly brandishing in public. Brandishing my weapon in my house is completely different than brandishing my weapon at Magic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At the strip club. Yeah. You know, you're out in the public. You're at your house. Yeah, you can have guns in your house. You're a celebrity. You got a lot of money. People might want to come and take some shit. Who's trying? I mean, this is why you have security. This is why you have people for this shit. You shouldn't be walking around like that, bro. You don't need to. You don't need to. It gives the wrong message. It sends the wrong message. And if you are walking around with it, you're not broadcasting it to everybody.
That's the thing. That's the part that I have a problem with. That you need to be a little more responsible. You need to be more mindful of your.
Nobody needs to know you're a tough guy until you have to be a tough guy.
Yes, especially when we know that you're not a tough guy. You know, we're in a social media era where everyone knows your business. Everyone knows everyone's business. You know what I'm saying? We know you're Clarence, dude. We know you're that guy. You know, but so
who can control the narrative for Ja Morant but Ja Morant? We only know what you show us and tell us. Social media, regardless of the fact, you can have cameras in your face all day, every day. There's tons of celebrities. We don't know what they do behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how they live their life outside of it. You know what? Tim Duncan could be a psychopath for all we know. We don't know because he keeps his private life private. And there's a reason for that.
Derek Jeter in the cell phone.
Derek Jeter
another perfect example.
With some of the most baddest women you ever know. And nobody's saying not one woman has come out and be like, yo, yeah, he slacked the shit out of me. Or he abused. You'll never see that, bro. Because you're not putting yourself in that situation to see it. You know what I'm saying? It's called discretion. It's called discretion. And you need to have a certain amount of discretion with your work life. I do it at my job. People are like, oh, you're a friendly guy, but I never see you like that. I'm not giving you any opportunity to see what I'm showing you outside of what this is here. Correct. I'm not trying to fuck that up. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. But Ja Morant, you know, apparently, we don't know. Apparently,
allegedly,
his, what do you want to call it? You know, his parents, his people
circle,
in the background,
his circle, man.
His circle, they fucking up. He's fucking up, but they're fucking up more.
Yeah.
Because
that back stops, it stops for you too. It stops for you too.
We all know that Ja Morant is the bag. And I hate to sound selfish. I hate to say that they're selfish or whatever the case is. You know, because maybe they're not thinking like that. We don't know.
Apparently they're not.
Right. Ja Morant is the bag. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's tough. You know, it's tough. I mean, I'm not doing anything that's gonna do that. Fuck the money. I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna jeopardize
your career
jammed up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck the money. Like, you know.
What did you get into the NBA for if you're gonna do this?
If you're gonna fuck it up like that. Yeah.
What did you get into it for? Why even work that hard? Why put in all these man hours to have somebody come and take it away from you?
And I said it's
something that you did.
The only bail I could shoot him is kind of, again, repeating what we said last week, and Stephen A. to me made a great point on it, was what state was he in? What's the state gun laws? If he was in Tennessee, it's wild.
fine.
It's willy-nilly.
It's fine. Right.
But it's not about that. It's about the optics and the imagery from the league standpoint. And the league is not the U.S. government. It's not Tennessee's government. The league has their own rules and standards. If you're a player in there, it behooves you to abide by them. That's what you got to do.
Right.
You got to abide by them. So if they're telling you no more, then no more. But also, I'm going to repeat, like I said last week, his friends ain't his friends if they're going to go on live knowing that he got the shit on him and then put the camera on him. Like, you seen how quick the camera turned from him, and it was just like, oh, shit, doing something, my bad. Like, yeah, you're bad because your bad fucked up your man's bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially. But the one thing I didn't like in this situation, because I don't know what Chris Kaman's situation was in his picture. But what's his name? Steven Jackson brought it up on Instagram talking about it's cool when they do it, but when I do it, it's a problem. Fuck them. The hook to that song.
Right.
What was Chris Kaman's situation when he was all like vested up, strapped, shown with guns and things like that? Like, it wasn't shown during the league, during a season while he was in the league.
Right.
Was Chris Kaman the face of the league? I think not.
He's
a role player.
Plays a factor.
It does. It plays a huge factor.
That part, yeah.
It plays a huge factor. We're talking about Chris who? Nobody even knows who Chris Kaman is at this point.
Okay, but so we're also now talking about double standard, right?
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could.
You have to. You have to
be a double standard because, again, the image that he chose to show was that during. Now, my big thing about it is was that during an NBA season? Was it during the season? Because with this Ja situation, yeah, he's out in the playoffs, but the season is still going on. If this was off-season activity,
it probably wouldn't get as much shine.
Story, live your life. But both of these happened while he was still in the league. Like the other one happened at a club after a game.
Yeah, that's bad, man.
It's the optics. It don't sound fair. Everybody like that wants to compare the black versus white thing and things like that. And I'm not giving Chris Kaman no bail. I'm not shooting him nothing right now because I don't know. I don't even know the layer or context to the image that was sent. We don't.
But then, technically, it was Ja Morant's off season. He was out of the playoffs.
The league off season isn't over. The league is still active. If the league was off, then to me, totally different story.
If he did it in the middle of July, it's different than doing it during that. Not even that he's out. This is the height of the NBA right now. Everybody's watching the playoffs. This is where the most eyes, the casual fan, is watching the game.
Right. And to be honest with you, let's keep it real. Just as black folks, right? We don't want to see that. We're being critical of him because we don't want to see him fuck up his life, fuck up his bag, and make himself look bad.
Right.
Like it's more not. Yeah, we're being critical, but it's like in my opinion, it's like we're being critical because we care type of situation over anything else.
Mm-hmm.
More than just being critical for being critical's sake. That's how people are taking it. Is we're being critical just to shit on him to be critical. No, we don't want to see this man's career get fucked up like the thousands of others who passed through the league before.
Yeah.
Or didn't get a chance to make the league because they fucked up before they even got a chance to get a bag.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many stories about that right there in itself.
And sometimes some of these guys, especially at young ages, don't truly understand the level of influence they have. I personally say I don't generally be influenced by too many people with certain things, but sometimes there's some things you can see that can sway me to be like, oh, okay, I might have to check that out, or I might have to, you know what I'm saying? But he's of, again, immense power and stature because, one, the media put him there. Well, his talents made the media pay attention to put him at heights. understand what you are working with as a person, and sometimes you gotta be like, nah. Like you said,
Also,
Herm Edwards said, "Do not press send for a reason, or think before you press send
right.
for a reason."
Also, this is not his character. Like, we didn't hear anything about him when he was doing in college like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you know, or back when he was in the AAU and shit like that. There's no like trail to be followed. This is not part of his resume. You know what I'm saying? Of where he got to.
But when you say that, then it can call to question, well, why are they now trying to tear this dude down? Even though he put himself in this position, why
Right.
now are they trying to put it on blast? So there's a question within that could be had too.
Also, yeah.
You know, if you want to flip sides on it. It's got to look at things from all angles.
Yeah.
Type situation, but we're not going to rabbit hole that far into that.
Nah.
But yeah.
No, I mean, you just got to be smarter, man. That's the bottom line is you got to be smarter. Man.
Absolutely. I agree.
You gotta
Totally.
be smart.
You gotta be smarter.
The stakes are very high when you're at that level. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's always somebody watching, and you got haters out there. There's people that want to bring you down all the time.
You
all the time.
You hit the nail on the fucking head.
Bro, they're looking for a chink in that armor, man. They're looking for a chink in that armor, and they're going to dig into it until it spreads like cancer, bro. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
exactly
looking for
what it is.
They're looking for that chink in the armor, man.
This is the conversation that he needs, that his pops, that Usher, need to have with his pops. Okay? I mean, with his son. This is the conversation, like, yo.
Yeah, well, that's why we brought it up. Like, where is his pops in this situation? When
his pops is too busy fucking with Shannon Sharp at the game, bro. You know what I'm saying? His pops want to be a celebrity too. Like, that's the part that I'm like, yo, so wait, when does protecting your son not become first priority? You know, and that's where I see that's where the, where I'm getting frustrated.
That's the disconnect.
Yeah, that's the disconnect. Like,
pushback.
Yes.
Here's the disconnect though in a statement like that. Call back to about an hour plus ago when we were talking about Jim Brown being in the room with Trump. We don't know what their conversations are. And this is in a way, when we say things like this, we're looking for them to live their life in front of us on social media to see what his response is, to see how. And what do most people say? Nah, you can't tell everything on social media. You can't show everything on social media. So there's a little pushback to that, because optics, visually, it does show, what is your father doing in this situation? But we don't know what they're doing in their personal life.
No. And that's wild, because as much as he exposed himself like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you can say that, but you're like, something's not carrying over. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, he should be like, this is where, like, to Big O's point, he should be, if I'm sure Pop's got a PR person, have him reach out to all these networks and stuff and talk. But also, too, you don't want to be the person out there looking like they're talking bad about their child either.
Right.
Because
you don't want to be like the protective parent, like, oh, Ja's pops is coming to save him type shit. You know what I'm saying? But he's a grown man. He can't speak for himself type shit. But
you don't want to put that kind of perception out there of, because we know people will twist whatever he's saying. So his pops could go on camera and say all the right things in favor of his son.
Mm-hmm.
The first headline on some of these websites would be, Ja's daddy rips him a new one live on First Take.
And you're here with the dog.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's right.
That's what happens. So, but 2 weeks of Ja.
Yeah.
But there's only 150th birthday for TJ. And this was actually Tony in the comments. It said, "Happy born day, TJ. Big O, good seeing you. I'll be sending you more crazy TikToks. Got some more Wu vinyl in the collection." and this is how I knew it was Tony for sure, because he said, "Y'all stay up, fam. I'm still working on that '90s album top 3 playlist. I'm almost done."
Ooh,
So he's still listening to the albums off the 64.
nice.
Yo, it's good listening, boy. I know he gonna enjoy himself, man.
Word, man. But I'm
This
sorry,
was a good
TJ.
show. No, I'm ready.
I
I'm
was
done.
gonna say I gotta take
I'm done.
because
I'm
I
done.
gotta finish cooking.
Yeah, I'm done. This was a great show. Thank you, fellas. I appreciate it. Another dope show. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the birthday shouts outs, everybody. Hopefully we get Jamal back next week. And I love doing this with you guys. As you know, I look forward to this every Sunday. So thank you again, man. I love this shit. Shout out to everybody in the comments, everybody watching. Love you guys. Thank you.
Yes. His boy Big O again. Yo, shout out to everyone watching. You know, people who were in the comment section. I love y'all, man. Please, next weekend,
You didn't blow it off?
keep going with the comments. You know what I'm saying? My boy Jamal, miss my brother, but I know I'm gonna see you back next weekend. Shout out to the show, man. Shout out to everyone watching, man. See y'all next week.
To continue on, big ups to everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in the comments. TJ, love as always, brother. Once again, happy 50th. You know what I'm saying? A lot more life to live left. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And yeah.
Midlife crisis.
Never that.
I ain't got much more else to say other than this worked out kind of how I was looking forward to, because in future shows, each one of you brothers are going to be leading the way. Like I've been trying for fucking years, but it's all right.
All right.
Each one of you brothers is going to be leading the way on multiple episodes to where we can all rotate this duty of just leading the crowd, leading the pack and all of that stuff. But this worked out great because it was just like, yo, are we still doing the show today? I don't know if y'all drunk or not, still wasted or whatever. And we didn't talk about what we're talking about. So conversation just went as it's supposed to go. It just went. And that's usually when we're at our best. So
yes, sir.
With that being said, peace. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Sure, man.